Hey guys, it is me, Lime. Today guys, we got here a very special video guys, and today guys, in this video, we'll be kind of estimating the exact same release date not the exact same release date, the exact same age of Esther, and what Esther actually is. Who's Esther? Esther's the main protagonist we'll be playing as Mr. Hobbs' Playhouse Book 1 is, so in Book 1, not Book 1, Story 1, I'm just having Piggy and head after recording a Piggy video, but, so yeah, after the first game, we do found, second game we'll be playing as Esther as a kid, and in the first game we'll play, Esther made her Mr. Hobbs, actually did not made her, got her, actually we found out in Book 2, Piggy 2, but after that, also one thing is that she's a grandma in this one. We never know her age, we don't know when Mr. Hobbs 1 takes place in, but the video coming out next week is going to tell us when Mr. Hobbs 1 takes place in, but we're going to have to actually find out both of these technically together. So in this video, we'll be finding out, I guess, the age and when Mr. Hobbs first comes out. Since we can't look both of them separately, we have to do them both together to solve the mystery. So let's go and solve the mystery. So I looked all over the place to see when Mr. Hobbs takes place, and obviously there's no videos at all talking about it. Even if you go on the wiki fandom, there's nothing about her age or when the game takes place. So what are we going to have to do? Find it out. So you guys can see here, this is how she looks in the other game, guys. You guys can see she has a cane and obviously gray hair. So, obviously you can know people that need a cane and usually gray hair. I don't know how old it's supposed to be, but more in their 70s. I'm guessing it's in their 70s to 80s. And people use the world record of the longest person so far is 120 something. So you can definitely see that's the longest, and people usually don't live off past 100. She's most likely within the 70, 80, and 90 year age, obviously. That's one thing you easily just get by looking at her. That's all you need, right? Until you actually find out that she was born in 1957, as the official game said. Wait, what? Nope, she's not born in that. This photo's taken in that time. And this photo is taking place when the game is taking place in the second game. And as you could tell, she's not born that time. So, what I actually did, this is not an official date. This is just a round there, a theory, or whatever you guys have to actually call it. But yes, guys. First thing is that Esther, she looks like a kid, yet they keep talking all this stuff, so I'm assuming she's a teenager. But I'm assuming she's also 10 years old. That's my theory. Esther is 10 years old playing the game, meaning Mr. Hobbs 1, when she was born, is 1947, as I'm stating the date of when she was born, and that she's 10 years old when Mr. Hobbs Playhouse 2 comes out. That's just what I'm stating at, and why it makes sense later on, and why I also think Mr. Hobbs Playhouse 1 takes place in drumroll, please. Yeah, terrible drumroll, but I guess that's a little bit better. But I think Mr. Playhouse, the original one, takes place in 2009. You're probably like, wait, what, Lightning? Why would the first game take place in 2019? Makes no sense, right? But the one thing that also backs it up is that the game originally came out in 2019, I think, or 2018. I'm saying 2019. I'm just gonna guess now. So that makes also no sense, right? Right? But also one last thing that also could back it up, One other thing that can also back it up is when you actually go up the years and actually add up the years. Obviously, 40 gets added up. You have to obviously just go up to 60. So 60 plus 3, obviously 60 plus 7 plus 2 is obviously going to equal to 9. Right? So, that's 62. Meaning, actually, Esther would be actually 62 years old. To get gray hair and a cane at 62 years old, I have no idea at this point how old she can actually be. But I'm actually thinking that right now, as saying this out loud, that this is actually a wrong theory and she's actually not 62. Because that means she's actually not 10. That's what I want to say, that we technically could rule out that she's not 10, meaning after them looks like a teenager and everything else, I feel like she's 15, 16, or 17, or up to 15 to 18 years old. That's my new theory also too, because if we do add that up, it'll make her almost 70 to 60 and 70. The perfect age, I guess, to get a cane and white hair. I have no idea. I'm not even that age, and I'm not a specialist in age, so sadly. So if the game does take place in 2019, and if she does look like a teenager there, and obviously she died in the newest game too in the hospital in 2019, obviously I'm assuming, the one other thing that kind of rolls out this theory, you see this, what she has in her house, trains, bears, and this phone, right? All this stuff is from the exact same year. The design of the house, the lights, the cabinets, and everything is all dated back to 1 year, 19 something, right? This is nothing near the 2000s, 2006 when the first phone came out, and also the whole Nokia and everything else came out all way back before 2000, meaning this game in 2019, none of this stuff would be here. The house would never be designed, and nothing would be like this. So, when does this game actually take place? This is an extremely weird theory, and this is obviously one thing that I have to say is that the developers never thought about this. This is one thing easy to say and forget about it for good. But no, it's actually true. The developers definitely did not think of a release date, and if you're watching this developer, please actually comment down if you had a release date, or please tell me if you did not or not. I'm just really curious at this point, because if Esther was, let's just say she was born in 1957, and then the game, let's say the game takes place in 2000 for some reason, even though they want to have that new phone, huh? It takes place and that stuff. Because fun fact, the phone came out 3 years after. Let's say this is when she was born. It comes out 3 years after, sometime obviously before this. It came out 3 years after when she was technically born, right? Well, she's obviously not 3 years old, and that phone would have been in her time, not in the time now. So, yeah, huh? Both the games look like they could both take place in the exact same time, yet for her to be now like a teenager, obviously not an adult, even if she is in her 20s, it'll still never add up. She'll be in her 50s to even possibly going to 40 to 50s, in mid, almost the 60s, meaning obviously for Esther to have gray hair and a cane, I don't know if you have to be 60 these days, but if you have to be 60 for that, who knows? And maybe she is. Maybe she was 20 and 15. Maybe this does take place, and Mr. Hops does take place in 1990, I guess. So my theory is that Mr. Hops takes place in 1990s or 2019, and also Esther is 15 or 15 to 18 or 10. So that's just all my theories. Tell me guys in the comments below of what the whole Asian theory is. I'm renaming this video the whole theory in age, actually, guys, because this is technically unofficial. No matter how much theorizing you keep putting into this, every time you look up the real age and everything, it just won't add up, guys, because the whole entire math of this is just not wrong. So yes, no matter what you do within the math of Mr. Hops 1, no matter what you do Mr. Hops 2 to look at that one date, he should have never released that date. And I feel like, yeah, he should never release that date. But when you do play through Mr. Hops and all the new gameplay, the syncs and everything does look like everything looks. Mr. Hops 2 only looks a little bit older, meaning that she's like 20 or something years older or later after events of Mr. Hops and Mr. Hops Playhouse 2. So yes, nothing really adds up no matter what type of math you're actually doing. Mr. Hops' whole entire timeline can never really add up. And that's the one thing I think the game was just making an amazing story. But the thing they actually forgot about is the exact date of everything when it's happening. And sadly, I don't think we could actually find a good date for that. So tell me guys in the comments below, what do you guys actually do think about this? And tell me guys in the comments below also your theories and when you think the game actually does take place. But tell me guys in the comments below, because I'd definitely like to know, because I obviously try to hide. Tell me guys in the comments below if you think I'm right and if you think this makes sense. And I'll see you guys all in the next video, guys. Good.